Welcome to Andertons TV. You probably recognise this chap. Perhaps not this chap, but I'm going to introduce them. This is Paul, this is Luke, and today's video is man versus machine. Welcome to Andertons, Paul.
Thank you, mate.
Hello.
Hello.
Luke is one of our senior guitar techs. Paul, if you're not familiar with, tell us about yourself, Paul.
I'm a guitar builder in Devon, professional idiot, and YouTube. I can't swear on your channel.
You can, just gets beat.
No, people will be really surprised that if I'm in Tesco's, I wouldn't swear like I do on my channel. It's not my workshop, so I'll behave, all right? So I've been invited on this wonderful stitch-up, and it's very exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, so we're at our main distribution centre here. This is our guitar QC department. This is where guitars come through here to make sure they're all okay, either because they need repairing or before we send them out to customers, etc. We have a Plek machine here, and I thought, what a brilliant idea. I've watched lots of Paul's videos, and I find them really funny. But so I invited Paul up, and we were talking about what would the concept be when you got here? Yeah. And I was like, in fact, this might have even been Taylor's idea, in fairness. I've got to give him credit where credit's due. Was it Sam? Fine. I thought...
Taylor's shaking his head profusely.
I'm going to get two identical guitars. Luke is going to put one through our Plek machine. Paul is going to manually, humanly set up the guitars. I've chosen two Fender American Vintage 2 1965 reissue Strats. They're both candy apple red. So we'll obviously know who's got which serial number, but I won't know that. Yeah. All right, I'm just going to know there are two red guitars. Vintage 2 I picked because it has the 7¼ radius fretboard, and if you're going to have a guitar with that sort of slightly heavier radius fretboard, the setup does need to be really on point. I'm just going to describe to these two how I like my guitars set up. That's it. I'm not going to give any measurements or anything like that, just described. You can ask me whatever questions you want. And then that's it. Luke's going to go out there, use the Plek machine. Paul's going to be in here on one of our benches with all his tools. I'm going to film the process, so you're going to see Paul doing it, then you're going to see Luke doing it. Then I'm going to come back and, unknowing, I'm going to decide which one I think is the nicest.
You're going to do the reveal with the special goggles on in the studio?
With the goggles, absolutely.
Lovely, lovely.
So look, just to show, here are the two guitars. I'm sure you'll see these being unboxed in a minute. Well, it doesn't really matter. You can have that one.
Thanks, mate.
You can have that one. Feel free afterwards to jiggle them around so there's no sense that, you know, there's any fix here. So yeah, they're brand new straight out the box. Now, Fender are one of the manufacturers who don't Plek their guitars as they leave the factory. There's all sorts of debate as to whether or not it's even worth Plekking brand new guitars, especially if the manufacturer chooses to Plek them at the end of the production line. This is the challenge for the day, right? So a brand new Fender Pleked, a brand new Fender done by Paul.
Pricked.
So go on, what do you, I mean, got any questions you want to ask me or any?
Well, he knows exactly what he's doing, so there's no debate there. It's and he knows a little bit more than me. I'm really excited because normally, as people that watch my channel know, I try to make cheaper guitars play as good as this guitar should out of the box. Yep. So really for me, I'm going to discover how good this is out of the box because I don't get to unbox a lot of £2,000 guitars.
Cool.
I haven't got high hopes, but that's weird in itself, isn't it? I should have high hopes because it should be lovely. It's a proper stitch up with a radius. Everyone agrees 7¼ radius is the toughest one to set up, but may the best man win. Well, the best man versus machine win because,
well,
you know.
If it comes out and you think that it's perfect out of the box, what are you going to do?
Leave it. I'm 44, mate. I know when the battle's won without having a fight.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm married for a start. I've never won an argument.
Well, this is what I find kind of interesting because, in fact, I think he's been at Andertons as long as I have. So we've got our most senior guitar tech, Gavin, Scottish Gavin, who works, he's got a booth at the store rather than at the warehouse. When the Plek machine came out, I think like a lot of techs did this whole there's just no way that a machine can be better than a human. And then of course when I spoke to the Plek guys, they're like, look, people underestimate how important it is that the tech is independently really good even before they go near the Plek machine. So that
you need to know what you're going to be putting in and what you're trying to get out of it as well. Yes.
I was tempted to watch lots of Plek videos because it's not a subject I know a lot about. And I started watching one and I thought, right, I've basically come with no Plek knowledge. Luke's run me through a little bit and already opened my eyes to how much input he has. So I know it's not as simple as plug and play.
Yeah. People think that. I think you just put the guitar in the machine and out it, which is not the case.
It's not a microwave, man.
Yeah, so it will be interesting. There's also perhaps a misconception with guitars that when we talk about how straight is a guitar, this mystical neck exists that is perfect the entire length of the neck. And the reality is, you know, there is inevitably some sense of fret height or neck not quite being even.
Wood moves.
Yeah.
And the human eye probably can't detect that, whereas the Plek can. So I guess that's the argument, is does that extra level of, you know, able to see those measurements really help? But
Right, so before you go, let's just have a rough idea about what sort of music you play. We've all seen the Instagram clips that you do sat on the top of the stairs. Just in a few words, how do you like your setup?
I've asked the guys to restring both guitars. So even though these strings are brand new on here, I've asked for these. So that my 10 to 42 regular Slinkies, I love those. I don't know what my string heights are, so I can't say to you, and I'm guessing it would be different depending on the guitar, right? But I like to, when I'm bending the strings, my pet peeve is, I hate it if you bend B string or the G string, I hate it if the string behind it, or, you know, slips under your fingers. So please have enough height for that not to happen. I'm not averse to a little bit of fret buzz in exchange for a slightly lower action on the lower strings.
Make note of that, internet, because people think that that's a bad thing. But if you're like me and you're heavy-handed, then...
What's the first thing any customer is going to ask you when they want their guitar set up?
Yeah.
No fret buzz.
Yeah, as long as you can go without buzz.
That kind of buzz you can only hear acoustically if you're really listening for it. You don't hear it through an amp, so it's fine. But equally, I don't want to be Stevie Ray. You know, I absolutely can't play with an action like a Stevie Ray Vaughan style. So I guess middle of the road, don't mind a little bit of fret buzz, don't want the strings to slip under my fingers. Is that enough information, gentlemen?
That was basically no information, but it's going to be enough for this.
I totally forgot to say to them as well, I like my trem systems floating slightly, so I can't give you an amount of pitch pull-up, but normally it sits about 1 millimeter off the body of the guitar. And it needs to stay in tune when I use the tremolo system, please.
Never done a proper unboxing video. They're very difficult to make them look professional. Oh, look at that. So everyone knows what we're doing here. It's a £2,000 Strat. It's a 59 reissue, I think, something like that. One of the first things I said is that when you buy a guitar like this, you are expecting perfection. Most people would, I think. They would expect the guitar to be absolutely perfect. So we all pretty much know that it's not going to be. So I've just got to find out how unperfect it is. So first thing I'm going to do is just have a little look at it. Oh, so this is proper old school. I've got to take the scratch plate off to adjust the neck. So there's an interesting point for you. I have never worked on a neck with that truss rod adjustment. And the neck is bowed massively. I'm not even going to measure it. It's got a huge bow on the neck. First port of call, take the strings off. Cheers, my lover. Look at that, look. It's nice, isn't it? Music Nomad, so that's £9,000.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah.
If you need anything else, Paul, you're fully able to jump into my toolbox if you want.
There's an offer you can't refuse. We've only just met. What a slag. Got one of those necks that's like, looks pretty good. But would it look good under a Plek machine? I just said on the video, I've literally never worked on a neck with that truss rod adjustment.
Have you not?
No.
Well, it's going to be specifically annoying for me. If I put that guitar in the Plek machine with the 10s on it, I've got to then take the guitar out, get the neck off, adjust the truss rod, restring it, put it back in, and then scan it again. And hopefully it will be in the position that it wants to be in. So you might be of a bit of an advantage with that.
Oh, stop it. Initial diagnosis, doctor, is the fact that these frets are better than what you get on a Harley Benton. There you go, that's what we've discovered so far today. They're not bad, they're not perfect, but they're not bad. Fender will be pleased. Can you only get my slim side in, please, Matt? Right. Can you keep it down? No, I know, that was good comedy value. I'm going to be responsible for the first ever C-bomb on the Andertons video. Right, so let's see. I'm only joking. So first port of call to appease the techs out there is, can we tap the frets down if there's any slight rocks? Will that work on this neck? They adjust quite nicely actually. So if they are gluing, what are they using? We'll have no derogatory comments about Plymouth, thank you. You were born in Plymouth? That explains why you're so rude. I'm joking.
How long have you been away from the muff?
That's what we affectionately call Plymouth. It's called the Muff. Got a Sharpie pen somewhere? What do you think about not masking the board up?
What, on a rosewood board?
Yeah.
Fine.
Get that on the internet. But the frets are pretty good actually. They needed a bit of a tap in. Yeah, there's gaps under them. But if I tap them all down, then they're not good, you know.
They're not good.
They're no good. So sometimes you just can't get that, can you? Or is that something you're aiming for?
That will be something that I'm aiming for.
Is it?
Oh yeah.
Mate, I love nerds. I'm not allowed near them without carers and things, but you don't want to see Matt's list of convictions. Jesus. Fully grown adults wearing pirate attire. So it's mad that a £2,000 Fender neck and none of the frets are pressed in how you'd expect.
Sometimes that's because the rosewood will shrink in transit, or, you know, there'll be things. If that wasn't a thing, we wouldn't, you know, be worth what we're worth.
Devon doesn't have borders, boy. Just has ideas. It's like Hadrian's Wall, isn't it? This is quite the room to walk into, you know. You boys have, you're all over it, ain't you? I just work in my workshop in Plymouth and just waffle shit at a camera. I wonder how much time a human actually spends on this then at Fender. Not a lot. So just a little close up to camera. This Fender, 2,000 quid, came with a tone shim, otherwise known as a crappy bit of card, which is perfectly fine. It won't suck your tone out if you're shit at playing anyway. I wouldn't notice. It's quite interesting because when I'm showing people how to do this on videos, the whole ethos is to say to people, you can learn to set your guitar up to a point. You can practice all these techniques and you can get out your £100 Strat or whatever you've got. You know, you can definitely improve it. And the whole point is to try and get people to improve their own knowledge. And then someone says, well, do you want to come and take on an £80,000 Plek machine?
I'm going to tell you right now, Paul, you've got nothing to worry about.
Oh, thanks, babes. Have you seen me naked? It's like a drop lasagna.
Punched kebab.
It's like a punched kebab. So if I want to make adjustments to this truss rod, you literally got to take the neck off?
Yep.
Or loosen this and try and get in there?
Loosen the strings up and then...
Yeah, I'll see if I can do that. So, man, I sure don't want to see what's on your laptop. Right, and he only wants his trem to float by a mil. We'd be floating by more than that. He's basically given me the guitar with the most amount of possible work you've got to do to it. He has given me an absolute pig of a guitar to do in a time frame. It's about as low as I can around with because I'm starving.
So where are you suffering from buzz?
Every time his wife comes in the room. Just as the final plate goes on. It was a ball ache, that was. The camera will show, oh, the camera's gone from up there. That would have shown me grimacing. Horrible working with other people's tools. But you can't blame your tools.
I can.
All right, I will as well then. And of course, we've lost a screw. There it is, I've got him. Step back, slag. Well, that's it. For that. I haven't been under that much pressure since my wedding day. How would I sum up the experience? Horrific. That was horrific. I hope it came across on camera.
Yeah, that's okay. So now I've got my measurements and everything else that I need. I'm going to move over to the Plek machine and we will see how much of a difference this is going to make. Okay, here we go. Chicken mayo is absolutely fine, mate. I'll accept whatever's given to me. Oh man, I just remembered it's the end of the neck thing, isn't it? This is gonna be so good. I can't wait. What'll be quite funny is if you get me just sitting there eating a sandwich while it's doing the work. And I'm like, yeah. They do this thing called a potato dog. Basically a hot dog wrapped in hash brown. It'd be funny if I just fell out of the chair. Right, first scan's done. Interesting. Just looking at the scan of the neck, think I'm going to be getting away without having to do a truss rod adjustment, which is pretty sweet. Get going on the Plek process. From the 12th fret, bring that down. Maybe a little bit more than that, I would imagine. Pull that up a bit, because that's quite a lot.
Where are you going to now, Luke?
I'm going to go to my bench, because I need to take the strings off and prep it for the Plek machine. Pretty much it just needed, well, didn't really need anything. The Plek machine does all the work. The neck curvature was at 2, which basically means that there's a slight back bow, but to achieve what we want, that's a good thing. Also, most of the time, that number in the Plek machine that says it wants to be at 2 or a 1, if it's a 2, it's perfect, it's fine. If it's a 1, it's really perfect, because you can get more than that. But what you're really looking at isn't necessarily the gradient of the neck, it's the frets. So what we're working on is how the frets are gonna be after the Plek. The neck, where it was sitting, is ideal for what Lee wants. frets, so all is well. Most of the work with the Plek machine comes in after the initial Plek. So right now, all we basically do in the Plek machine is the Plek machine sort of stepped back and went, you know, we want to get to the nitty-gritty stuff where we're sanding down frets and polishing and getting the string heights right. I did put a custom action into it for him. I'm not putting strings on it. It needs to sand the frets down. So all I really need to do is take the strings off. We're going to the Plek machine now. Feel free to answer that, Oz.
What's happening now?
Now the machine is actually going to cut the frets now. So you might want to come in here and have a look at this. And the blades are going to start going. Whee! It's just been plecked. The frets have been sanded down. I'm going to get over to my bench, give the frets a good polish, clean the guitar up, get some oil on the board because it's looking a little dry. It's looking pretty good, but it'll be a case of just giving it a little bit of a clean up. And then after we've done that, we'll get the strings on it, get it in the Plek machine again, and then we'll adjust the string heights at the bridge. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. As low as it can go without buzzing isn't a setup preference. That's all I'm going to say. Now we're going to put it in the Plek machine for its final scan, and then after that we do the saddles. Plek quality achieved.
So what are you doing now?
All I'm doing is adjusting the saddles to the action preferences that I put into the Plek machine. I'm getting the radius and the string height all in one go. How low do we want to go? We want to go quite low. So all the string heights are relatively where I would like them to be. I'm okay with that as it goes. We'll save that. Quick play test, case it up. 7.25, that ain't that bad. That is not where it should be at all, actually. I'm quite content with how it's come out. I'd have liked more time to really hone it in, but considering it's just a Plek, I'm relatively happy. See you back at the studio.
Well, we've had a nice afternoon, haven't we, Paul? Bit of lunch in the pub.
Well, a lovely jolly. I had a fish finger sandwich.
You did?
And it was free, and from the West Country, that doubles the flavour.
Been playing a couple of the guitars that Paul makes and has brought with him, which are very nice too. But that is not why we are here. I was informed, which of course I know, but forgot. Of course, I've picked absolute guitars to set up because the 60s vintage 2 models from Fender, you have to take the neck off to adjust the truss rod cover, the truss rod,
yeah.
Which I'd totally forgotten about, and I'm loving the fact that I've just made it even harder to do. Paul, you had some observations and comments about the setup, and then after that we sent to Luke.
I knew it was going to be a tough challenge. It's not my work. There's no excuses. I wanted to get as close as I could to basically the Plek as I could, and as close to his skills, because that guy operates at a level above mine. So it's really, I came with the notion of like, oh, you know, can I beat a Plek machine? That would be a bit weird because it's such an amazing bit of kit. So I'm interested to see how close I get.
Cool. And any observations about what was the out the box? What was the setup like? What was the
that Fender? Although the frets were pretty good, what I did to them was no different to what I would do to a £300 guitar to get that level and playing right. So it's a bit disheartening. That's a £2,000 guitar. So whatever you buy will need a setup and will need some love. Even at the £2,000 level, if you want things to be tight and an action how you like it and all the rest of it, then it's gonna need a setup, which baffles me in this, you know. But I know less about it than you do.
No,
so.
I just think, you know, once the guitar has acclimatised, once you've sort of gotten familiar with it, once you've sort of got a feeling that you go, I would like it X, I think the best £100 that you can spend on is not a new pedal or an amazing guitar cable or whatever, a posh strap.
I think a lot of it does come down to, I think a lot of it does come down to personal preference as well. I like my action really, really low. There'll be another person that will like something that's a little bit more towards the 1.75 sort of range. So you can get those.
Which for you feels like this
Exactly,
much.
And it's personal preference.
Do you think everyone watching this video their expectations, everyone's is different. That's one of the first things I learned from talking to people online. A lot of it may be based on the one guitar, maybe their first guitar.
Yeah.
The first time they picked an electric guitar up, it was set up that way. That's how they should all be. So if Dave from Aldershot picked up, right Dave, special wave, if he picked up a guitar with a 2mm action, and for him that feels normal, and if you gave him your guitar, it would feel alien.
Yeah, it would feel like what we call a typewriter. You play it and it's tick, tick, tick.
Yeah.
I don't think that's anything to do with what the very first guitar. I think that's the style that you develop.
Yeah,
and
the personal preference thing.
Yeah, I think it's the style you develop and personal preference and string gauge. I think that the difficulty, I suppose, is out the box. What are we as the retailer trying to provide? And it's that we've checked it, that it works, that it's fit for purpose, if you like. I guess all we're trying to do is middle of the road. We're just trying to sort of give like a starting point of like, you might want it a bit higher, you might want it a bit lower. It shouldn't be at the extreme of anything.
Absolutely.
And player should accept that what they should do, I'm waffling now, is once that guitar's acclimatized and they've got used to it and they've played it a bit, is it shouldn't be weird that you're then going and either setting it up, you're making those fine tunings yourself, or taking it to a local tech and going, would you mind just giving it the bit of a
that should be the norm.
That should be the norm of that. So it shouldn't be bad out the box, but it shouldn't, perfection is something that is personal to you.
Exactly.
I'd go as far as to say that when someone spends £2,000 on a Fender guitar, the onus isn't on you as the seller. That guitar should come from Fender already in that realm.
Yeah,
and it did.
And
to be
probably
fair.
does, in
It
fairness.
does. It does. It does.
But to get it absolutely perfect, then again, always take it back.
I mean,
for a
Fender
setup.
have got to be at the end of the scale where I would say of all the brands we deal with, it's one of the ones that we have to do less.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I hear that.
Definitely.
Who would you say is that, like someone like Paul Reed Smith feels like it's like the epitome of like you don't do anything.
Yeah, I mean,
And
there's been the occasional thing where like.
But giving away some secrets here. But Fender's at the good end, isn't it?
Definitely. I would agree with that. A lot of the things, especially in the QC department, if a neck's moved in transit, or a truss rod might need adjusting because humidity changes and things like that, it will be that sort of thing that we have to adjust. So it could be, like you say, some mad Brazilian rosewood neck PRS private stock thing. It doesn't matter. It could be incredible, and it is incredible, but in transit and in different humidities and different environments, wood moves.
If you think about what is the minimum journey, with the exception of a brand like PJD, which is probably the only British-made guitar that we sell, what is the minimum transit journey that a guitar has done to get to Andertons?
Yeah.
It'll be either a few hundred miles if it's come from Europe, and they won't be, but most of them will be coming from America or the Far East. They've done like 3,000 or 4,000 or 5,000 mile journeys.
Yeah, and you've got to think about all the temperature changes, humidity changes, how they've been moved around, and just general transit.
Almost impossible.
What did you? So obviously you've had ultimately the same challenge as Paul, but obviously you're approaching it slightly differently. Did it feel like you were approaching the job differently, or is it the same approach, different tools?
It's different because obviously we're completely different people, and we use different techniques, and he brought some of his own stuff and I've got some of my own stuff as well, and the way that I do things are obviously going to be a little bit different to the way that Paul does things, and vice versa and things like that. That's what's really good about getting other guitar technicians together, because they can sort of collaborate on what's cool. Oh, you do that way, I do that way. Collaborative effort. So every time it happens, it's like playing with a different musician. You pick stuff up off of people.
The biggest takeaway and the final compliment that I'll throw in the mix is the fact that I noticed that the talent you've got over there in the QC room, because all of you boys really, really know the game inside and out. And I thought, well, I'd love to spend a few days in here. Do you know what I mean? Because I would come out, much, because that's the whole point of my channel, is I'm kind of learning all these new techniques through comments and talking to people, and then I want to pass that on to other people so they can do it themselves, the basics. But yeah, there were days of lessons for me in there that I could have learned. So that would have been nice.
Well, that's kind of you to say. Well, look, okay. So the two guitars are in cases here. As I say, I don't know which is which. I am going to blindfold up for this first bit, which feels slightly pointless because I don't know which, even if I could see the serial numbers, I don't know which one you had or which one you had. But I'll blindfold up. And then I'll take the blindfold off after the initial things. Could I have the tremolo arms on them though, please, Mr. Tay? So do you want to pass us the thing and we'll crack on?
All yours, the moment of truth. This could be career suicide.
I know. Are we happy then, Taylor?
Yeah, go for it.
So this is this is probably exactly the action that I would have hoped for. So what I was trying to explain before is if the action goes too low and I do this, this next string down slips underneath my fingers, and I don't want that to happen. But I don't want the action so high that it's, you know, just... Now, obviously on this type of radius fretboard, potentially as I go higher up here, it would have choked out had it been poorly set up. Have I got many more frets to go, Paul?
Yeah, bet another 10. One more.
Is it? Oh, here we go. I mean, there's this shit playing up there because I can't see what I'm doing, but it didn't, no sense that there was it was badly set up to the... It's a bigger neck than I remember. It's a big old neck on the 65, especially the width of it up here. But it feels just nice to play. Sorry about the tuning. That's exactly how I'd want the tremolo arm as well. It's got nice tension there. It's not for... What's the laughing going on here? You give me an Ibanez art like Steve Vigent. I mean, I think brand new strings on here and everything like that, it feels like it's going to take a little while for the tuning to settle in, but that's a nicely set up guitar. I would happily sit and noodle on that for...
Do you want power off?
Hours. Yes, that's fine. Okay, this one has a lower action. I mean, it helps that it's more in tune, I think. So, I bet you in reality this is like a billionth of a millimetre lower action, but it feels a lot lower. Now I'm in a dilemma here because I know that I can feel that the string above is more likely to slip underneath although my instant feeling is this is the nicer one to play, I probably would end up just cranking the action up a hair. it's lovely to play. This is the nicer one to play. This is where I find out they've just given me the same guitar twice. Now, if this... So this is not... I don't think this is going to bend. Oh, do you know what? It gets better up here. That's weird. I threw in a bit of that just for you.
Thanks, mate.
I am very impressed by how low the action is on this, and it's not choking. Whether I would, I think just to play, I would probably have it a slightly higher.
I think that's on the limit.
I think for a player that maybe didn't bend as much as I did, or just had a different style of playing, especially if you were looking to try and play a bit faster, I think this would be just perfect. For chords and stuff, it feels lovely. I'm just a bit paranoid that round here, not on the B string, I think on the E string. Oh. I found the one, I think. Do you know what's super weird as well? The strings feel a bit slinkier on here, but I'm guessing they're both 10s, right? They're both the same. Oh dear. There you go, I've totally... The trem setup is great. Both guitars are really nicely set up. If I had to pick one over the other, I think this one is probably a gnat's hair closer to me going that. But I think this one I'd be looking to possibly raise one or two of the top strings up a smidgen. The other one, don't know. I probably wouldn't do anything to, but there would be a sense of, or maybe I would try and drop it just a smidgen. It's interesting how it's interesting how badly out of tune they both go when I play.
They're both great, but I don't like either.
Yeah. No, I like them both, but they're not the same. That's quite an interesting. I know, unless I'm not. I would not say I'm playing two different guitars. You know, I'm playing two of the same guitar with very slightly different setups on them.
But it makes them a world of difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I try the first one again, just to 100% sort of.
Yep.
It's amazing that what it's coming down to is saddle height.
Coming in.
Thanks, man. Sometimes I'll find as well, like the. Oh, where is it? The set.
Thumb you in.
Oh, excuse me. Oh,
here we
look at that.
go.
How did that? Maybe this one is.
Come on, Dave.
Do you know what? On set, they're much closer than I thought second time around. Let's go up here. Ah! My God. Oh, man.
Let's just have the results already.
The other one's got the slightly lower action. I think this one is closer. I don't know what. I don't know. Oh, is it that way? Is that the camera? Is that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. I've totally lost all my bearings.
Yeah.
I'd be super happy with either of them, but I'm going to say this one was done by a human and the other one was done by a Plek, because I think the other one's got the action down a bit lower.
Can I give the results?
Can I take my mask
By
off?
all means.
I think you got that wrong. Yeah. And the only reason I know is because I noticed a little bit of rust on the bridge of mine, on the screws.
So, okay, so we have the serial numbers presumably somewhere, do we, that these guys know what's which?
one's my-
So 619 is the Plek one.
That's the Plek one.
So if I say that I set it up to 1.6 mil on the low E on the 12th fret and 1.4 on the high E.
1.6 to 2, I think.
So yeah, so you were basically, yeah. Did I compete with the Plek though?
It's really interesting because the fact that you've got it lower just made me think that would be what the Plek would do.
That would be my initial thought as well. And because he plays lower.
Ah, but it's not my guitar.
It's not, and that's where they nog in, yeah.
I honestly think that we're splitting so many hairs. It's almost only just the top E as well.
Yeah.
It's just the top E string I would probably raise.
I raised that
and
point
that's
too in the last
hair.
minute as well.
Really? I do like them, you know. My 54 Strat's even worse than this.
Yeah,
We're
really
talking about
close.
how close the strings are to the edge. But actually, I don't...
You soon adapt your playing.
Yeah, I don't... I don't have a problem with that.
Well, that was a success. Thanks for having me. Thanks, everyone.
So you need to buy yourself a Plek machine, is that what we're saying now?
I'd have to call
Have
it
you-
a prick machine, mate.
Try you. I mean, what do you think? I'm interested in sort of another. Or leave the thing in if you want. But I'm interested in kind of. Is it in my mind, or do the two play? Oh, he's gone straight for the.
Of course, yeah. Luke, be kind. Oh, he's checking for relief in the neck. There should be hardly anything.
You're right, there is hardly anything.
Yeah, see, you've got quite a lot of relief in there. I've got 0.05 mil.
I went with what the Plek wanted.
Yeah.
What did the Plek want?
Not a lot, evidently.
Right. So as in a relatively straight neck.
Well, no. It wanted some back bow.
Right.
Because, that's just what it wants. And obviously because the back bow is relative to how I've set the strings in terms of what I would assume you would have liked.
Yeah. Is anyone still awake at home?
Look at the bends you're pulling out on that thing. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
This radius is never going to let you do it.
No, it won't. It won't.
Like that thing, the thing that he
It
set up
would
in the
if you
workshop.
go... Because then you're bending over
Yeah.
the radius, so it's got room.
Oh, I
to-
see. So you've
Giving
got
you
to
the weight.
massively overbend, and then you get
Yeah, yeah.
all the
So
way
there,
over the
you'll
hill.
get to a point where you bend,
Oh, yeah.
especially on your B or your G, you bend up, start choking, and then
you
it
can
will go
actually hear
further.
that,
Yeah.
can't you?
I've learnt so much
Yeah,
today.
I've learned that as well. I never really
Yeah.
knew. So, oh well, look, there you are. Thank you very much. It was unbelievably close in the end. I hope you enjoyed the video.
I've been shitting myself all day. Thank you very much.
And presumably you're open for business, are you, right? If people want to just bring their guitars to you to
Well done, mate.
Good game, good
Yeah.
game.
setups and stuff.
Friend
and
for
in your
life
neck of
there.
the woods. Good,
Yeah.
good. And of course, if you want your guitar set up at Andertons, you can bring it here, and I'm sure Luke or one of his colleagues will do it for you, including having your guitar plecked,
Yep.
if you so wish. Right, thank you very much. See you next time.
All the best.